the words of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart.
A couple of weeks ago, Rick challenged the congregation. He was looking for 50 people that would each give $1,000 to help with the building fund, to try to help get some of the unfinished spaces finished and just kind of catch up with the expenses from the building program. And that was something I really wanted to do, and he asked us to write it down on an envelope on what we were willing to pledge. I really wanted to give money, but I knew I wouldn't have $1,000 to give. Single mom, teacher salary, $1,000 just don't come in easily for us. But as I thought about it and prayed about it, I really wanted to look and see if there was any way that I could come up with at least half of it, which doesn't sound like that much money to a lot of people, but to me that's an enormous amount. And so I prayed about it and wrestled with it, and I thought there's just no way that I can afford this on my budget. I was thinking about using my tax return for that money, but that money is like a nest egg that I use to carry me through the leaner months, especially the months that I don't have a paycheck in the summer. So there was a battle going on inside of me. I wanted to give to the church, but yet I felt like I was responsible and needed to be responsible with my money. I went to my Financial Freedom Connections group on Monday night, and Bernie told a story about a time in his life that they had chosen to honor God with a pledge. That was a substantial financial pledge, but they really didn't have the money to do it, and they wrestled with it. But in the end, he and his wife realized that they had to stay firm and honor their pledge to God, even if it meant that the money would be short in other areas. And as I thought about that, I thought, this is something that I can do too, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to give $500 to the building fund, and I'm going to just trust God to carry us through those leaner months. Tuesday morning, I went to school, and there was an envelope in my mailbox, and on the outside of the envelope was a handwritten note that said, "Important, open immediately, check enclosed." I wasn't expecting any checks, and so I eagerly tore into it. And it was a check for $468. And this check, it turned out, was one that had been issued to me over 2 years ago, and somehow I had never cashed it. And they caught it in an internal audit and reissued the check to me. And it was almost the exact sum that I had pledged. There were a couple of miracles in that. Number one, I always cash my checks because I always need the money. Number two, it came the day after I had made a decision that I was going to trust God with this pledge. And it made me just so appreciative. And I went back and looked at that verse in Malachi that everyone's familiar with, that says, "Test me in this and see if I won't open the windows of heaven and pour out such a blessing." But as I read on in Malachi, in chapter 3, verse 16, it says, "Then those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard, and a scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name."